The firestorm circling Team USA did not begin with a simple disagreement or a bad practice session. It began the moment Stephen A. Smith elevated the conversation from tense whispers to national headlines, from online speculation to full-scale crisis. What had been brewing quietly beneath the surface for months erupted the instant he put words to what millions suspected but no one dared to say. The WNBA's internal power struggle was no longer contained within locker rooms or practice courts. It had spilled out into the open, dragging the league's biggest star, its most decorated veteran, and the Olympic program itself into the center of a story growing too large to control. And as Stephen A.'s commentary reverberated across the sports world, the perception of who held power and who might lose it shifted dramatically. The idea that Aya Wilson, a generational talent and the longtime emblem of Team USA dominance, could be pushed out of her pedestal once seemed unimaginable. She had been the standard, the anchor, the face of an era built on championships and stability. But the ground beneath her began to shake the moment Caitlin Clark arrived and shattered every traditional expectation of what a rookie could be. The business of the WNBA transformed overnight. New audiences poured in. Ratings broke decades-old ceilings. Merchandise vanished from shelves. And almost instantly, a silent divide formed between those who symbolized the league's past and the young phenom who represented its future. Through every physical bump, every viral collision, every awkward interview, fans began to read the situation as generational warfare. The veterans insisted everything was normal. Basketball is physical. Rookies must adjust. Pressure is part of the game. But the millions who tuned in because of Clark saw something else entirely. They saw a new star being tested in ways that felt deeply personal. They saw hostility that seemed out of proportion to routine competitive fire. They saw veteran players, willingly or not, positioned as the gatekeepers of a sport desperate to grow. And once Stephen A. Smith amplified this perception, the narrative became nearly impossible to reverse. His most explosive claim, that Wilson could be fired from her mantle as the league's flagship figure, did not emerge from thin air. It emerged because the business entities surrounding the WNBA had begun viewing this drama not as rivalry, but as threat. Sponsors were suddenly nervous. Networks felt the tension overshadowing the product. Olympic executives feared headlines about internal chaos overshadowing global dominance. And everyone understood exactly what was at stake. If fans perceived that Clark, the most influential rookie in league history, was being targeted, mistreated, or silenced, then the sport's explosive momentum could collapse as quickly as it started. Stephen A.'s point was brutally simple. When billions of dollars are in play, sentimental loyalty cannot protect anyone, not even the face of Team USA. That pressure only intensified as reports from inside Team USA's practices leaked into public view. The picture painted was unsettling. Growing distance between groups of players. Cold exchanges. Sessions that felt less like preparation and more like damage control. And then, the moment that turned speculation into wildfire. Rumors that Caitlin Clark had walked out of practice in frustration after being benched during a key scrimmage. Not for performance. Not for rest. But to prevent further tension with veterans who allegedly grew irritated with the attention surrounding her presence. The thought alone electrified the internet. Fans who already believed Clark was being targeted saw this as confirmation that the environment had turned toxic. And for the executives who monitor public sentiment carefully, the situation instantly became a crisis. The reaction inside the Olympic training facility reportedly bordered on panic. Coaches were stunned, staff whispered about fallout, and team officials scrambled to assess the damage. It was the kind of chaos that forces organizations to act quickly, not because of what happened, but because of what the world believed happened. Clark didn't need to shout, argue, or call anyone out. The silence of her exit spoke louder than confrontation ever could. It represented the breaking point of a power struggle the league had spent months trying to contain. And Stephen A. emphasized that in the modern sports landscape, perception is a force far more powerful than truth. Even if the veterans meant no harm, even if Wilson had no role in any hostility, the optics painted a picture that fans accepted as reality. Once that perception took hold, the league's silence became the loudest part of the story. Team USA offered no reassuring message. No statement of unity. No public moment of clarity between Clark and the veterans. This vacuum allowed the internet to write the narrative itself, and that narrative was brutal. Aya Wilson was cast as the gatekeeper resisting the rise of the rookie phenomenon. Caitlin Clark was viewed as the revolutionary being held back by the old guard. And the Olympics were portrayed as a battleground where this silent war was being fought. Stephen A. knew this perception was dangerous. He warned that executives would not allow a fractured culture to undermine the brand they are trying to elevate on a world stage. Protecting Clark meant protecting the future of the sport. And if that protection required reshaping Team USA, then no player, no matter how accomplished, would be immune. This moment marks a turning point. Not because the rumors are proven, and not because Stephen A.'s predictions are inevitable, but because the conversation he ignited has forced the world to confront the shifting power dynamics in women's basketball. Caitlin Clark's influence has grown beyond the court. She is no longer simply a rookie. She is a cultural force, a business engine, a transformational figure reshaping the expectations placed on the league's stars. And as her rise accelerates, the weight placed on the veterans grows heavier. Fair or not, they are being judged not only on performance, but on their ability to coexist with a phenomenon who might redefine everything they built. Whether Aya Wilson is truly at risk or simply caught in the crossfire, one truth stands alone. The WNBA is entering a new era, faster and more chaotically than anyone expected. And the decisions made in the coming months will determine whether the league embraces this evolution or fractures under the pressure of it. Stephen A. Smith's warning is not just a prediction. It is a reflection of the tension shaping the sport's future. And according to him, the fallout has only begun. If you've made it this far, I want to hear your thoughts. Do you believe Aya Wilson's position is truly in danger, or is this narrative being exaggerated by the media? Is Caitlin Clark being unfairly targeted, or is this simply the growing pain of a league entering the global spotlight? Drop your opinions in the comments. And if you want more deep dive breakdowns like this, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next chapter in this evolving story.